UFC Fight Night Taira versus Park happens this weekend. I'm going to give you my full breakdown and prediction for the entire card, starting with the early prelims, going all the way up to the main event. So, starting out here, just starting off looking at the card. Taira versus Park, I want to say it's the first fight, or the first headliner fight between two Asian fighters. So, meh. It definitely could be a little bit more interesting considering Park stepping in on short notice to fill the spot for Amir Albazi. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I want to see on Monday he pulled out, so a little bit short notice. But Park is supposed to fight Steve Erceg next week, so it's not that he's unprepared or anything. But the whole card itself's not anything crazy. A lot of people are calling it the worst card of the year. I definitely don't think it's the worst card. Macy Barber versus Aaron Blanchfield was this year. I don't think you could get much worse than that, if I'm gonna be honest. But we'll look at the card. Solid main event. Taira versus Park is gonna be good. Rebecki Duncan, that one has potential to be a banger. Elvis Brener, Ribovics, it's got to be good. Carol Rosa, Cornolle, no Magny, dos Santos. We'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me. Super high on Kevin Vallejos, and the rest of the card is not awful. It's really not. But we'll start at the very bottom. Pierre Rodriguez, Caitlin Souza. So just looking at records in here, 10-2, Pierre Rodriguez, Caitlin Souza, 15-5. It's a women's fight. It's a lower level women's fight. I will say that. At least they are flyweights or strawweights. My bad. So the strawweight division is pretty decent, especially a lot better than bantamweight, women's bantamweight. So at least there's some skill there, we'll say that. But just looking at records on my side, let me get it pulled up. Caitlin Souza, her last fight, she lost against Angela Hill. I think at this point in your career, if you're not beating Angela Hill, I don't think you're going to be anything up higher. I want to say Angela career's record's 18-14 now. I just don't think if you can't beat somebody like that, like later on in their career, Angela Hill's been fighting forever. I don't think if you can beat someone like that, you aren't necessarily going to be anything. Pierre Rodriguez, though, she's coming off a win. Nothing impressive. I mean, she's been disqualified. Intentional headbutts. Had a loss against Jillian Robertson. It's nothing special. We're going to go Pierre Rodriguez decision. What I have on my notes here. Yeah, women's fight. I mean, there's not much to it. Pierre Rodriguez decision. All right, next up, Rafael Estevan versus Felipe Bunes. I am going to go with Rafael Estevan here. I just think Felipe Bunes, 14-7, that's a pretty iffy. It's a pretty iffy career right there, 14-7. But let me see. Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, Rafael Estevan beat Charles Johnson. If you know anything about fighting, Charles Johnson is the last person to beat Joshua Vaughn. Joshua Vaughn is on a kill streak right now. That kind of just shows the levels. I mean, even in the third round, that's when Joshua Vaughn got stopped. I'll say Rafael Estevan. Let's look. So we've got, beat Charles Johnson, decision, unanimous decision. That's just how it's gonna go. I don't think there's gonna be a finish in this fight. I think when Rafael Estevan wins, it's gonna be from the scorecards. I do think it's gonna be pretty one-sided though. But yeah, Rafael Estevan, Jesus Aguilar decision, Charles Johnson decision, and then we've got the Contender Series fight. And then he came from LFA. But yeah, I just don't think Felipe Bunes lost to Joshua Van. That's where we were going to get to. Lost to Joshua Van. Rafael Estevan beat the guy who beat Joshua Van. Obviously, MMA math doesn't work, but at the end of the day, I think you can use it for fights like this, I'm going to say. But Rafael Estevan, we're going to go with decision. I don't see a finish here, but I am going to say decision. All right, next fight up. This one, I want to say it's made pretty recent. Whenever I was looking at the fights on Monday, I don't think this one was on here. So Austin Bashi versus John Yannis. So John Yannis, I have no clue about. Let me pull it up on here. Let me see. So John Yannis, so it looks like he is coming from the regional scene. So obviously there's not much we can see in the UFC based on that from him. Austin Bashi, he's coming off a loss right now. He's coming against a loss against Christian Rodriguez. That's not a bad loss if you think about it. That's the fraud checker of all fraud checkers. That's up there. I'm trying to think who else we got. That's the Diego Ferreira of featherweight right now. Fraud checker of all fraud checkers. So he looked good on the Contender Series. He had the submission win on the Contender Series. I thought he looked really good there. I do think with it just being such short notice for John Yannis, and you're gonna have the obvious UFC jitters, things along those lines. I just think Austin Bashi, if he really pushes the pace there at the start, should be able to get him out there in the first round. You're coming in week's notice. Not a lot of pressure is obviously going to be on you, but at the same time, it's your UFC debut. It's the moment you've kind of been waiting for your entire career. Oh, happens on a week notice. And usually sometimes that's really good for fighters. They can shine under the lights. I just think Austin Bashi's really good. It's not like we're dealing with Felipe Bunes down here taking on an opponent on a week's notice. It's a little different. Austin Bashi, pretty well rounded. Striking's okay. Definitely grappling focused. But yeah, I'm going to say Austin Bashi, first round submission. I think if he just really pushes the pace, throws him up against the fence, goes to the takedown, a little bit of ground and pound, things along those lines, I think you get him out in the first round. When you know what John Yannis looks like, if we're being honest, dude's a locked character in the UFC game. No clue. I don't even know who that is. Who is the character that they use? It looks like Damon Jackson. I'm just going off the hairline, though. The previous hairline. The new hairline looks really fresh. Man, I had to make a trip out of Turkey out sometime. But yeah, I'll take Austin Bashi, first round submission. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, we'll go next. Nick Klein, Andre Pulyaev. Let me see what I've got on my notes over here. Yeah, not much to say about this one. 6-2 Nick Klein, 9-3 Andre Pulyaev. It's almost like you grab two unks at the barbecue and you're like, hey, you guys fight. The kind of the vibes I get from this fight. I'm going to go with Nick Klein decision, I want to say. Let me look at their careers on this side just to see if there's anything that sticks out to me. I looked at it last night. I didn't see anything. So, yeah, Andre Pulyaev coming off a decision loss against Christian Leroy Duncan. There's nothing really wrong losing to Christian Leroy Duncan. It's not an awful loss to have by any means. Nick Klein coming off a KO loss to Mansour Abdul Malik. Not much to say. Not much to say about this one. I'm going to go with Nick Klein decision. I mean, I think for the most part, these guys are just going to be standing up. It's the fight, odds-wise, they're both negative 115. So it is a pick-em fight at this point. If you want to sprinkle a little money on Andre Pulyaev, might work out. But then again, at the same time, Nick Klein, it's literally just a pick-em fight. I feel like I don't really think anybody has a full advantage here over each other. We're just going to go with Nick Klein. He's got that blue-collar nickname, son. And he's going to get out there. He's going to get dirty. He's going to do his thing. We'll say. Then again, Andre Pulyaev could probably head kick him into the next dimension. He's from Russia. Dudes are a little different. So this is like streets of Russia versus southern United States. So we'll see. That one's interesting. We'll go Nick Klein decision. Yeah. What do we got next? This one I am actually interested in. Adolfo Viera versus Tresean Gore. So, a lot of people, I don't think Tresean Gore is as bad as people say. However, at the same time, we're going to look at Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore lost to Cody Brundage by finish. That's bad. That's bad. Cody Brundage, literally the last 3 fights, it's not that he looked awful. It's just like if there's any chance that he can get out of there, I feel like he takes it. But then again, there is always something like clash of heads, things along those lines. But it's literally like his past 3 fights have ended in no contest. Or I think the last one he got overturned, I want to say that happened a few weeks ago. I think it went to a majority decision, but I think it got overturned to a no contest, just because of a headbutt. But it seems every single fight happens that way with Cody Brundage. But if you're going to go out there and get finished by Cody Brundage, when I think he's more there, he's kind of just there. And then if he can find a moment, he'll go. But you got to give him that moment. You just don't give him the moment. You're usually fine. Like, usually kind of just steamrolling through. At this point, I don't think Tresean Gore's, I don't know. He's got to be bad. You lose to Cody Brundage, you got to be bad. I thought he was good at one point. He had that standing guillotine against this side of the cage. That one was really good. But I don't know. His last loss, he's coming off 3 months ago. Marco Tulio by KO. That's in there a little soon. I want to say that one was pretty bad too. But Adolfo Viera, I think he can get this done with the grappling. I'm going to say, after looking at it, yeah, all my notes over here, I've got Tresean Gore lost to Cody Brundage by TKO. Says enough for itself. That is fair. I do rank Adolfo Viera when he fought, who was it? Fluffy, Anthony Hernandez. That was not, he looked good for a little bit, until obviously the finish when he got submitted. But Fluffy is really good. He's fighting Roman Dolidze next week. I think I'm going to go with Fluffy next week for sure. But, I mean, for the most part, up until the submission, he was pretty dominant, things along those lines. I mean, he's just really gassed out. That's his biggest issue. I want to say he changed camps in his previous fight, and his striking looked a lot better. But the biggest thing every time is just his cardio. I mean, it's like first round, we're plotting forward. We're throwing some heat. We're in there. He's shooting the big takedowns. He's getting them. And for somebody that does just do jiu-jitsu, he's got pretty good takedowns. Usually with the jiu-jitsu guy, they just struggle to get takedowns the entire time. It's just not really their thing. But yeah, his takedowns aren't bad. But first round, great fighter. Great fighter, we'll say that. Second round slows down a little bit. If Tresean Gore is going to win, it's going to be in the third round. I don't think he's going to win the decision here. I think Adolfo Viera can hold out for the first 2 rounds for sure. I think his grappling's just going to be too much. But if there is a chance Tresean Gore to win this fight, it's going to be in that third round. But I don't think it's going to make there. I am going to say Adolfo Viera is probably going to submit him in the first round. I just think he's too much. Tresean Gore, you lost to Cody Brundage. That says pretty much all I need to hear from there. 6-3-2. I mean, half the time you're going in there, you're winning, you're losing, you're winning, you're losing. 10-3 by Adolfo Viera. A little bit better. Both of them are coming off losses, so no momentum there. We'll get to momentum later. Trust me. I don't know. Adolfo Viera is also a unit. Dude's a tank. Just look at him. Both on 6 feet. Look at the physique comparison. Crazy. But yeah, I'm going to go Adolfo Viera early round submission. That's what I'm going to say. Then next, this one's hard. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. So both of these guys are coming off losses. Rinya Nakamura's last loss was pretty pathetic. He just didn't do anything. That was his issue. Like, he shot for the takedown a few times. Never got it, but that was it. Like, it was almost like the Bo Nickel effect, where it's like, really good wrestler. I want to say Rinya's got a silver medal from the Olympic Games in wrestling. So, super good there. Like, no joke about wrestling. But it's almost like the Bo Nickel thing, where it's like, yeah, they can wrestle, but they're not a fighter at the end of the day. Which Bo Nickel could turn it around, I'm sure. and become like something, become ranked, I'm sure. It's just like, after watching the fight, it's just like, oh, you get hit to the body with a knee over and over, things along those lines. They kind of just like crumple a little bit. It's like they don't have that little extra oomph to it. When you have like a real fighter out there, like they're there to fight, like they get hit, they're gonna give you some. Wrestler, I just like, even from wrestling in my own experience, you kind of like the dominance thing along there. If you don't have the dominance, is when you kind of get issues. That's whenever you see them like kind of stop, things along those lines. But looking at it, Rinya Nakamura's last loss is actually awful. The guy he lost to, I think, was coming off like a 4-year layoff or something. You shouldn't be losing to those guys, plain and simple. Nathan Fletcher is coming off of the split decision against Callum Loughran, which Callum Loughran's pretty good. I will say that. I just think there's no way Rinya Nakamura comes out there and does the same exact thing. So he's been training with his dad, like in MMA too, for a while. Mainly wrestling, but I do want to say he did train MMA when he was little too. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, he's got to show up. If he doesn't show up after this, I might not ever pick him again. But just with those accolades, I am going to go with Rinya. I'll probably say decision. Definitely don't see. After his last fight, I can't pick him by finish. There was no finishing instinct there. It was just takedown. Oh, I didn't get it. I stuffed it. I'm going to bounce around the cage. Like, no, dude. You're down by 2 rounds. Get up in his face. If you get slept, you get rocked. It is what it is. At least you tried. You can't just go out there and pitter patter. We'll bounce around the cage. No, I don't. He's got shot this time. Couldn't get the takedown to save his life last time, but I think it'll be wrestling heavy for sure. I think he might just hold him up against the fence. I don't see this one being exciting though. Nathan Fletcher could make it exciting, but that's if. That's a big if. But yeah, from there though, we'll go Rinya Nakamura decision. So now, Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. So I'm super high on Kevin Vallejos. Let me pull up the record on my side to the left. Okay. Last and only loss in his career. Gene Silva. Decision. Alright. Just think about that. Gene Silva is a dog. Everybody in the UFC's went out there, he's pretty much dog walked. He literally hangs off the cage and barks like a dog. Like, dude's a pit bull of a human. If you were to get a person and we're like, oh yeah, I wonder what a person would look like as a pit bull, it either look like the Trend Twins or it looks like Gene Silva. One of the two. Kevin Vallejos, he got pieced up in that Gene Silva fight, I'm not gonna lie. But ever since then, he's looked good. Before that, he looked good. His last fight, got a KO. Mean. Whenever on this Contender Series fight, that's the one I really liked. He's in there. It's almost like Ilya Taporia a little bit, where he gets him, where it's just like mean left hook to the body, maybe throw right hook, and then we'll just go upstairs. We'll just go upstairs with everything. Clip. It's beautiful boxing. It is. It's really good. However, like I said, Gene Silva did piece him up. The head kicks, things along those lines. I know there's a one head kick he barely blocked. Danny Silva though, 10-1. I mean, not bad. His last loss was in LFA against Cannon Kawhi. I don't know who that is. His last win, Lucas Almeida, decision split. And this one, Joshua Kalibau. Or Josh Kalibau, sorry. Split decision win he got. I think at this point, I don't think Josh Kalibau is that good. I don't think he's anything special. I think if you put Kevin Vallejos out there against Josh Kalibau, I'm putting my money on Kevin Vallejos. Put him up against the fence, rip body shots. He's gonna hug her up. He's here, and he's just gonna rip body head, body head, finish him. In this fight, though, I am going to say Kevin Vallejos. I'm going to say I think it could go to decision. I want to say Danny Silva's pretty tough. But I believe in Kevin Vallejos. I think he's going to be something. Definitely gonna be ranked one day for sure. I'm gonna say third round. We'll say third round. Third round TKO. Yeah, I mean, on my notes over here, I'm just talking about Kevin Vallejos sticking to the body like Ilia Topuria. If you can look like anything like Ilia Topuria in this time in your career, take that. He's smoking everybody. So, take that. Take that to your fight. Go with it. Little glimpses of Ilia Topuria out there. We'll go Kevin Vallejos late rounds finish. Now, I talked about the unks earlier at the barbecue. This is actually the unks at the barbecue. Neil Magny versus Zaleski dos Santos. Zaleski. Alright. 29-14 for Neil Magny. 25-9 for dos Santos. So, it's literally the unks. They've been in the game for a minute. Let me get their last fights pulled up on my side. Let me see. So, dos Santos' last fight is when he got KO'd by Chitty Ninja Kwani. However, that is kind of a bad look after Jake Matthews just stopped Chitty in like 30 seconds. Which, kind of bad look. But, Neil Magny, I think at this point, if you said Neil Magny like 2 years ago, I might go with Neil Magny. I'm not gonna lie. But at this point, I think Neil Magny's kind of just there. This last fight, Carlos Prates, straight left hook down, just gone. I want to say it was a straight. I don't remember it being a left hook. I thought it was a straight. But I thought it was a straight down the pipe. Just slapped him on the end of his punch. He was kind of just there for that. Like, he was kind of just plotting around. You know, the Neil Magny style. Front kick, jab, jab. His last win is against Mike Mallet. Mike Mallet whooped him for 13 and a half minutes of the fight and then gasses in the last minute and a half and just, like, gives up the fight. Like, that was pretty pitiful. That was his last win a year and 6 months ago. Before that was Phil Rowe. The decision that I thought Phil Rowe won, I just don't think it's anything special. Michael Morales finished him too. I just think it's that point in his career. He's 37 at the same time as Zaleski dos Santos is 38. Yeah. It's the battle of the unks at this point. It could be that dos Santos goes out there, looks good for the first 2 rounds. Neil Magny got him in the third. I don't think Neil Magny's finishing anybody. Might eat my words, but I don't think he's finishing anybody anytime soon. He's kind of just there. It's like, you kind of just place him. It's kind of tough, a little bit. You hit him with a clean shot. It's like, you know what? I don't know. The Carlos Prates loss did not look good whatsoever. It was kind of just like, I'm getting hit. He hit my chin. We'll go to sleep. Not saying that like he faked it or anything, but at the same time, that shit did not look good whatsoever. We'll go to Santos. He's also got the, he had the draw with Renat, which Renat gasses, but he's not bad. I think there's some potential there. I don't think Neil Magny would beat Renat. So, I don't know, not getting smoked by Randy Brown either by dos Santos. He did get rocked a few times, but we're minus 215 favorite for dos Santos. Pretty much all the fights on here, I feel like are not. There's a few. There was the pick'em fight with the unks earlier, but I feel like most of these fights is usually the favorite. It's usually who to go with. Usually there's a few times that the underdog. I'm like, I don't know why they're an underdog. Here though, minus 215 favorite for dos Santos. Neil Magny 180. Underdog. We'll go with dos Santos. I think he could. I think if you really wanted to, dude, if you just bit down on the mouthpiece, you got there in the first round, throw some straight shots, get him backed up, hit him to the body a few times, and just rip some mean shots upstairs, I think you can finish Neil Magny. Do I think he's going to do that? I don't think so. I think I'm going to go with decision. After looking at it, studying it yesterday, all their previous fights, kind of looking at it. I do think I'm gonna go with decision, but then again, I think there might be a finish. We'll go to Santos decision. Neil Magny's been clapped his past 2 fights. Literally, a victim out there, just clipped, dead. 6'3", 5'11" though, so big height difference there. But I don't know. It doesn't matter whenever you don't impose your will whatsoever. So we'll go to Santos decision. All right, here we go with this one. Rosa, Nora Cornolle. Women's fight, 18-7, 9-2 for Nora Cornolle. Notes on here. Women's fight. Let's see. Rosa lost to Alan Perez, sorry. Yeah, that's where I was at yesterday looking at it. Women's fights, unless it's like main event or for the championship, it's, I don't know. They're not anything crazy. However, the past few weeks, the women have opened up the card with some finishes. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get one in the prelim opener this time. But here, it's Carol Rosa's Nora Cornolle. I mean, bathroom break sounds awful, but at the same time, I don't really care. It's bathroom break. Go get some food. Things along those lines. I don't think Carol Rosa lost to Alan Perez. I don't think Alan Perez is anything. She's just there. She'll hold you against the fence, take you down, ground and pound you. She wins. She twerks. Things along those lines. We'll go Nora Cornolle decision. I don't have much to say there. This one, though, Elvis Brener, Estevan Ribovics. So, this one. I like Elvis Brener. I do like Elvis Brener. Year, 2 ago, I thought it was going to be something. Up until, let me see, whenever he lost to... So, the Myotech Orblai loss wasn't bad. That was a pretty close fight. It wasn't anything awful. Just really didn't do enough. Myotech Orblai is also pretty sound in his technique, I will say. I think he's good. He just never really got there to beat him. But after the Joel Alvarez fight, that past one for Elvis Brener, I'm worried. Like, that one was, dude, that was a beatdown. Like, he got his ass whoops. I don't know. It's hard. They're both coming off losses, but Estevan's last loss is against Nasrat, which it was a split decision. I think he could have won, but then again, if you're keeping it close with Nasrat, it's kind of meh. It's momentum. What I was talking about earlier with momentum. You know, I mean, Daniel Zellhuber, Estevan Ribovics, that was a decision split. Crazy fight. If you haven't seen that fight, go watch it. That was on the O'Malley Merab first card. That was the Sphere. Super good fight. Like, that was potential fight of the year candidate. Really good there. Oh my god, and the knockout he hit Terrence McKinney with, that slip high kick. Clean. And I do think Terrence McKinney is potential, but at the same time, it's either like, hey, I'm going to sleep you in the first round, or you're about to hit me with the most devastating finish ever. Kind of momentum. I know he's coming off of a loss, Estevan, but at least it was a split decision. We're going to call that momentum because he was still in there. It's not like he just got like one-sided beatdown. Elvis Brener, though, is pretty much got shut out by Myotech and then just whooped by Joel Alvarez. Like, complete shutdown there. I just think with momentum, you kind of... Elvis Brener, last 2 fights, losses. Last 4 for Ribovics could be a win. Obviously, they had the split decision loss against Nasrat. But other than that, I mean, everything was pretty good. I just think it's a little bit of momentum versus no momentum at all. I would love to see Elvis Brener win. I just don't think he is. I just think Estevan Ribovics is probably going to put it together. I'll probably say Esteban, we'll go decision. I don't think he's going to put it on him like Joel Alvarez. I think Joel Alvarez is going to be something in the lightweight division. Esteban's got potential. I don't think as much as Joel, but yeah, we'll go Esteban decision. And then for this one, I don't remember if I gave a prediction. The Nora Cornolle versus Carol Rosas. Nora Cornolle decision. We'll say that one. Esteban decision too. A lot of decisions so far. Now, up the card, we've got another one. Rebecki versus Chris Duncan. So here, 20-2 for Rebecki, 13-2 for Chris Duncan. Both these guys are coming up on wins. Let me pull up their last fight. So, last fight, here we go. Rebecki, split decision win against Maltek Orblai. That one, crazy fight. That was another fight of the year candidate right there. It was back and forth. Maltek Orblai's whole face was swelled over here. Couldn't even see his eye. It was crazy. But Chris Duncan, dude, I always see the clip of Chris Duncan on the Contender Series getting just manhandled. Dude, clipped, dropped, almost shut out, gets up, shooting for the takedown, gets rocked again, dropped, rocked, dropped. Dude just comes out of nowhere, just bink, clips the dude, finishes him. I see that all the time, and it just keeps in my head. I'm like, oh, Chris Duncan's not that good. His record's not bad at all. 13-2 is not bad. His last loss against 13-2 his last loss against Manuel Torres. That's not a bad loss at all. But I mean, it's just he beat Jordan Vucenic in his last fight against submission. I don't know. I always think of that Contender Series, and I'm like, oh, he's not that good. He's 175 underdog too, minus 210 for Rebecki. I don't know. And Rebecki's last loss is against Diego Ferreira. That is the fraud checker of all fraud checkers. That's the fraud checker of the lightweight division. That's like the it's like the dark horse almost of the lightweight division. I wouldn't say he's the dark horse now, but if you were a year ago, I'm like, oh, he's fighting Diego Ferreira. One's gonna be close. You better keep an eye on that one. I don't mind that loss. But at the same time, I think Chris Duncan could win. I don't think he is. I'm gonna go with Rebecki round 2 TKO. I just think he's gonna be too much for Chris Duncan. I always see that clip, Contender Series, him getting hit. I think Rebecki can repeat that. I think you can put him up, and Rebecki will rip against the fence. He'll throw hard, heavy body kicks. I think he can get there. Contender Series, they play that clip everywhere. I think Rebecki can repeat that. Let me check my notes over here. Yeah, pretty much said everything. Maltek Orblai last fight, super competitive. But yeah, he got the win. I don't think Chris Duncan is going to beat Maltek Orblai. So, we'll go Rebecki. I'm going to say round 2 TKO. I think he can rip into the body, might open up to the head. I think he can get in there. I'm going to go with round 2 TKO against Chris Duncan. I'm going to say against the fence. I'm going to say body kicks are going to open up to a head strike, and he's going to finish him there. Next fight. Or last fight, too. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyun Sung Park. So, 16-1, Tatsuro Taira, 10-0 for Park. Taira is coming off that loss against Brandon Royval, where he kind of just needed to do a little bit more, and he would have got there. But Park, I want to say he has 2 wins in the UFC so far. I want to say they both were finished. This last fight, let's see. He's 3-0 in the UFC. I don't know. They played the finish of him against Shannon Ross. I just saw the UFC post that earlier, and I'm like, it's Shannon Ross. I don't think Shannon Ross is anything special. I think if you went to go to your grand's house, your nan's house, you hit her on the chin, she's probably got a better chance of staying conscious than Shannon Ross. He's 13-8. He's been knocked out by half the division at flyweight. That's all I've seen. It's like, oh, he might impose his will. Park might be able to get him there in the stand-up. I'm like, oh, because he beat because he beat Shannon Ross, that's not enough to be like, oh yeah, he's gonna stop the takedown threat and piece Taira up on the feet. I don't think so. I think Taira can definitely just stifle the standing. I do think Taira just more experienced too. Alex Perez, that fight is when he was on the back and he somehow like blew Perez's knee out with a lock behind it whenever he was in the back mount standing. Carlos Hernandez, okay win. Edgar Chairez, I think that's a pretty decent win decision. He's been in there so much. I gotta go with Taira. Short notice too. It's a completely different opponent. Steve Erceg, you're not gonna be like, all right, let's work on the ground game for 8 weeks in this camp. No. You're like, all right, we're gonna practice stand up. Then even then, as Steve Erceg does, let's shoot for a takedown and then get reversed and lose the title. In Steve Erceg fashion. I just don't think whenever you're training to fight Steve Erceg, I don't think your main priority is not at all is the grappling. It's the stand up. Taira here, you're in training camp, you need to be working on your grappling. I just don't think he is. So I'm gonna say, plus it's a 5-rounder. He was training for a 3-rounder against Steve Erceg. I think Taira's gonna submit him in the 3rd round. I'll probably go with the rear naked choke. It's usually Taira's move right there. I just think he needs to overwhelm him. That's what he needs to do with the grappling. You're not training grappling. Your arms are going to fill up with blood. You're going to get tired. Things along those lines. And just park. I think, from what we've seen, he's 10-0. Obviously, the O in the record makes everything look better. 16-1. Taira could have done more against the Brandon Royval in that fight for sure. But I think at this point, Taira's going to take it. He's been in main events before. He was in the Brandon Royval main event. Park is what he's from. Road to the UFC. Get those fights there. He's got the experience. I just think it's too soon, too quick. Also, change of opponent's going to be too much. That's the big issue here. It's not that Taira is going in here against Park. He is on short notice technically. He's only got a week to train for him. But he was fighting Amir Albazi. It's a similar style to Park in a way, with the grappling a little bit. It's just Park was training for the complete opposite. And I think that's where the main issue is going to come from. So, Tatsuro Taira, we're going to say 3rd round. Definitely later round, maybe 3rd, 4th round finish. I'm going to say submission by rear naked choke. So we'll go there. But yeah, that's the entire card. I will be live streaming this card live on this exact YouTube page. Just now kind of getting into this. I've always been into it. I've always watched like Lucas, Guru, things along those lines to do this. I was like, dude, I think I can do this too. So that's where we're here. But yeah, this is UFC Fight Night, Taira versus Park. I think it can deliver. It's not the best on paper if you look at it. Like one of the fights I got excited for is, where's it at? Here we go. Tresean Gore, Rodolfo Viera. Tresean Gore 6-3. Why am I getting excited over that? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Card's got potential. We'll see. But yeah, that's the card. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching, and see you later.